how to pass a project manager interview, and what are those key mistakes project managers keep doing again and again unknowingly, and then keep on wondering that why the hell they are not able to crack any interview. Let's do a deep dive in this video. So here's a question that I get asked very often from aspiring project managers, okay? So the question is, Ray, I have applied to dozens of project manager positions. I have all the qualifications. I've even got my CAPM or PMP certification, but I keep getting rejected again and again at the interview stage. What am I doing wrong? Now, if you are watching this video, there is a good chance that you might be facing the same challenge, okay? You see, here is the uncomfortable truth that most project managers do not realize. Having project management credentials, technical knowledge, and even years of experience doesn't automatically guarantee that you will ace the interview, okay? In fact, I have seen brilliant project managers with stellar resumes completely screwing up their interviews, while on the other side of the spectrum, candidates with less experience but better interview strategies landing in their dream project management roles. Now, the problem is most project managers prepare for interviews the same way they have prepared for their certification exams, okay? Let's say by memorizing definitions, frameworks, and theoretical concepts. However, project management interviews aren't about reciting the PMBOK guide or explaining what a WBS or a Gantt chart is, okay? They are about demonstrating your ability to think like a project manager, solve real-world project problems, and most importantly, proving to the interview panel that you can deliver value from day one. So in today's video, I am going to walk you through 5 proven strategies, the 5th one being an absolute deal breaker that will completely transform how you approach your next project management interview. Now, these are practical insights, okay? And I have gained this both by being the interview candidate and the interviewer across various project management roles over the last 10 to 15 years, okay? So I've been on the both sides of the table. So let's get the discussion started. So let's start with the first critical strategy, using proven frameworks to answer situational or competency-based questions in the project management interview. So when an interviewer asks that, tell me about a time when you as a project manager managed a difficult stakeholder, they are not looking for a rambling story, okay? They want a structured response that demonstrates clear thinking and measurable impact. This is where frameworks such as CAR or CAR or STAR or STAR frameworks helps you a lot. So CAR stands for context, action, and result, while STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. Now both work brilliantly, okay? But I have personally seen that the STAR framework for project management interviews works better because it explicitly highlights your ownership of specific tasks. So here is how it works, okay? Situation sets the scene briefly. What is the project? What's the challenge? Etc. etc. Task defines your specific responsibility in that context. Action details what you did, okay? Not what the team did, but you did as a project manager, and the result quantifies the impact, preferably with some metrics. See guys, most candidates mess up their interviews by spending 80% of their answers on situation and rushing through the actions and the results and the impact, okay? Now that's backwards, right? Your actions and result should consume 70% of your response. The interviewer wants to understand your decision-making process, your leadership approach, and most importantly, the value you delivered out of this entire situation. Remember, without a framework, even your best experiences can sound unconvincing or rambling, okay? So with the STAR framework, even simple projects become compelling evidences of your capabilities, okay? So next time you are in an interview, try out this method and let me know in the comment section below whether it helped you or not. Moving on to the second strategy, and this one is so obvious yet so frequently ignored that it actually shocks and amuses me, honestly, which is to read the job description of a role thoroughly before you go for the interview. Now, you'll be amazed how many candidates walk into interviews without even properly reading the job description, let alone analyzing the job description for possible interview questions. Although that's like such a base expectation if you are appearing for an interview, isn't it? So here is what most candidates do not realize. Interviewers literally craft at least 50%, if not more, of the questions in the interview directly from the job descriptions. So when the JD mentions experience with stakeholder management in complex environments, guess what? You will definitely get asked about managing difficult stakeholders in the interview. On similar lines, if it says risk mitigation expertise in the JD, please expect detailed questions on your risk management approach in projects. So before you go into your interview from now on, print that job description and highlight every requirement, every responsibility, every desired skill the job description talks about. Then prepare specific examples from your experience that directly map to each of the pointers. This isn't just preparation, guys, okay? It's strategic alignment. When you mirror the language from the job description in your responses in the interview, you are subconsciously confirming to the interviewer that you are exactly what they are looking for as part of fulfilling the role which they are interviewing. Now let's talk about the third strategy, which is often overlooked but incredibly powerful, okay? Maintaining eye contact with all the panelists during your interview. Now, this might sound basic, but you would be surprised to know that many candidates often focus only on the panel member asking the question while completely ignoring the other interviewers in the room, okay? See, with my experience with conducting panel interviews now across multiple organizations, I have noticed that candidates who engage with all the panel members through deliberate eye contact are perceived as more confident, more leadership oriented, and more collaborative. It's a subtle but very powerful non-verbal communication that says that I value everyone's presence here. That's positive body language. So here is the technique. Start your answer by looking at the person who asked you the question, okay? Then you shift naturally your gaze to include other panelists while you elaborate on the answer. Now, when you reach the key points or conclusions, make brief eye contact with each person. This creates connection with the entire panel and not just with one interviewer. Very, very important. However, please be aware that don't make this exercise mechanical or creepy, okay? Especially when you are a male candidate and one of your panelists is a female member, okay? I hope you understand the nuance here. Natural, confident eye contact shows that you are comfortable addressing diverse stakeholders, a critical skill for any project manager. Please demonstrate that in the interview. Moving on to the fourth strategy, and this is not very obvious, but it could help massively if you are especially interviewing for senior project manager or program manager or portfolio manager roles. Taking notes when interviewers ask long, multi-part questions. You see, guys, senior level project management interviews often include scenario-based questions which has multiple components, okay? So for example, the interviewer might ask, tell me about a time when you managed a project that went over budget, how you communicated this to stakeholders, what corrective actions you took, and what you learned from that entire experience. Now that's 4 distinct evaluation points in one single question, right? So here is what most candidates do not realize. you are being scored on each subcomponent separately, okay? You miss one part and you have potentially lost 25% of your marks for that question, even if you answer brilliantly the other three parts. So when faced with such multifaceted questions, simply say that that's a comprehensive question. Let me quickly jot down the key points to ensure that I address everything, okay? So no interviewer will fault you for being thorough, okay? So in fact, jotting down these points demonstrates that the exact behavior they would like to see in a project manager, which is attention to detail and structured thinking. So please write down the keywords for each of the sections of that entire question and then systematically address them in your response following the CAR or the HTAR format, which we have learned already. So this approach shows that you can handle complex information, you can prioritize effectively, and you deliver complete solutions strategically. Exactly what you will need to do in real project management situations. Make sense? Finally, let's address the fifth and the most interesting strategy: how to answer questions about project management tools. So here is a mistake I quite see with project management candidates who are appearing for an interview. So a candidate, when asked about what project management tools they have applied, they start listing down softwares such as I know Excel, I know PowerPoint, MS Project, Jira. Now, funnily enough, that's like saying you know the alphabets A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on when someone asks you about your writing skills, okay? See, interviewers don't care whether you are an Excel wizard or not, okay? All they want to know is how you have leveraged these tools to drive project decisions. So instead of saying that, okay, I have used Excel dashboards in projects, your response should be, I have used Excel to build Monte Carlo simulations for schedule risk analysis and created earned value dashboards in Excel that helped my project executive to make go, no-go decisions across each of the phase gates of a project, okay? Now that's quite verbose, so I will pause the slide here for you to read through an ideal response. So your response in the project management interview should be following this framework. Now on similar lines, do not say that you have used PowerPoint to drive projects, okay? Talk about the executive steering committee reports or dashboards you have created using PowerPoint that secured some additional funding for the project. Similarly, do not just say that you have done MS Project, okay? Explain how you used it to identify critical path delays and implement fast tracking strategies that recovered weeks on a delayed project. So the magic is in the application, guys, okay? Not knowing the application by itself. Every tool you mentioned should be tied to a specific project artifact or decision-making scenario. This transforms you as a candidate from someone who just knows the tool to someone who actually delivers value through strategic utilization of those tools. I hope you liked the video, guys. Please press the like button if you did and comment below on what other interview strategies you have yourself found helpful while appearing for your project management interviews. I'd be very interested to know that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon in the next video.